Originally from France, Karine works as a naturopath in the health and wellness field and has her daily radio live wellness program on the French radio in Qatar for the last 10 years. Her personalized holistic method of approach supports people in their healthy life changes, their personal development, and makes them responsible as far as their lifestyle habits and health are concerned. After studying psychology, Karine gained vast life experience over the 20 years she spent in several countries, and she chose naturopathy and energy work techniques to bring her clients physical, mental, emotional, and psychological wellness. She uses the body code and emotion code technique from Dr. Bradley Nelson that work on releasing blockages. These trapped energies distort the normal energy field of the body, creating pain, confusion, stress, malfunction that can affect our physical, mental, and emotional health and prevent us to move forward in life. She's also a family constellation practitioner and systemic coach. The purpose of family constellations is to assist you in releasing yourself from entanglements and baggage that are not yours originally, but belong to your family system, as the issue is often not only a personal one, but part of the family system. Supporting clients in specific areas of their self-development is part of her wellness practitioner work. She will help you gain more clarity and alignment in your life, more self-confidence, inner peace, setting boundaries in a healthy way, recovering your strength after challenging life events, replacing unhealthy patterns to become the best version of yourself. Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to have you here today. We have Karine, who is a naturopath originally from France. She's been in Qatar with us for 10 years now. Hi, Karine. How are you?
Hi, Anca. Thank you for welcoming me today. Very happy to share this moment with you all.
Yeah, we are. I'm really happy to have you on the Healer Hub podcast, and I think it's going to be very helpful because you seem to be integrating so many different modalities. I'm really curious about who you are and your background story. If you'd like to share that with us.
Yeah, I think it's come from my full story, I would say, in the last 40 plus something years, I would say. So, because originally I started my journey, I would say, on regarding healing. Um, I started with psychology study basically. Then I worked in the education domain, a little bit of medical as well. Then I studied my naturopathic training and certification. So because I found the psychology side was very interesting, but there was something missing for me at some point. I feel like it was really focused on the mind, but not at that time, not so much on the body. I think now the psychology is maybe a little bit more integrative, but at that time it was really much more focused on the mind. So for me, I integrated this naturopathy, let's say, approach as a holistic approach. So I can combine, the approach about the mind with my background in psychology. Then I can add as well the emotional, part and the part that is related to the body, and so it would be for me like a more complete approach in
Yeah.
adding that. So then later on, let's say for about a little bit less than 10 years now, I started to integrate as well to my approach the more healing modalities based on energy, like emotion code, body code. So I'm practitioner of various technique related to energy healing as well. So I kind of combine all this because I found like the individual has to be approach in terms of health. So not only like health wise, I mean, not only from a body perspective, but a mind perspective, an emotional perspective, as well in terms of energy. So we need to kind of have a kind of a clear understanding of how all these part work or function, I would say, in one individual, to be able to support him or her as much as possible, knowing that for me, my approach is that I like people to I try as much as possible that any client that come to see me would take in charge his own health, whether it's mental health, physical health, emotional health, because you are the only one to be able to kind of do that for yourself, even if you have support from outside, from different therapists. But you are the key person regarding your health. So that's a very different approach from the, let's say, classical allopathic medical approach that is more, symptomatic, and it's more like, for example, you kind of let the doctor, the specialist, to tell you, okay, what you should do, what is good for you. Whereas in our holistic approach, it's more like, often I told my clients, listen to your body. So often we talk about the ability to listen to yourself, how your body feels, because most of the time, and that's quite maybe strange, but nowadays, I mean, a lot of people are not even able to connect with their own body. It's kind of something very foreign to them in some ways. So we need first to kind of reconnect to their own body, their own self, to be able to know, what they feel, how they are, etc. Because sometimes I notice there is a disconnection between themselves and their bodies. Like, for some reason, it's very common nowadays, because I believe as well that the body has a natural intelligence, I would say, and knows, if you know how to listen to it, and knows what is good or not for you most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. Can we go a little bit into what is naturopathy and how do you help people through naturopathy, and then the body code, emotion, and the family and systemic constellation approach?
Yes. So naturopathy. So yeah, people have doesn't have often a proper idea about what is this exactly. So basically, it's it's an approach that, as I was explaining, that is holistic, that supports people in their healthy lifestyle change, their personal development, and make them responsible as far as their lifestyle habits and health are concerned. So basically, we don't use any intrusive, invasive healing modalities. So means like no medication, no heavy, harsh treatment, let's say. So we focus more on either natural remedies, but not only. We can use like energy-based healing modalities. We can use different means. We can, for sure, we really work on the lifestyle. So we have to go through the diet, the sleep, the how the person usually exercise, what is the mindset of the person as well. So we kind of uh, review, reframe all that if there is a need to do something related to that, and it's most of the time the case, because all that can affect as well how you feel, either physically and mentally. Um, so what I so this is naturopathy basically. So it's the use of any natural means or natural healing modalities that would help the person to go back into a better health, I would say.
Yeah, so flower remedies, for example, would go here, homeopathy would go here.
Yes, so homeopathy is a little bit a different modalities. It's not included in naturopathy, and often the people doesn't make a clear difference between these two. Homeopathy is really a specialized healing modality that is based on specific remedies, basically, and a specific approach. So it's not included in naturopathy, but it's part of the alternative and complementary holistic approach as well. In the way we approach a client, and it has the same the same approach, let's say.
Yeah, like looking at a person holistically, body, mind, spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and more preventive and not symptom based. I mean, like
Yeah.
not medication. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a little bit more clear in some ways. So that's why, each naturopath, as well as you can have two, three, five naturopaths, like having a very different way to. We have the same approach, as you said, like holistic, but each practitioner would have, or will, a very specific, maybe some specific healing modalities and tools that he would be more prone to use, because it's like in anything, we have our preference as well. According to our experience, we see what works better, according as well to which type of client and challenge they come with. So we will use certain type of modality or others. So and each naturopath will have his own, like, personality, I would say, in terms of tools that he or she used in her or his practice.
What about the body code, emotion code? What is?
Okay, so the body code and emotion code is really an amazing technique, healing modalities. It's an energy-based technique from Dr. Bradley Nelson that work on releasing blockages, especially trapped energy that usually distort the normal energy field of the body, and it can create either pain, confusion, additional stress, malfunction that can affect our physical, mental, emotional health, and, for example, prevent us to move forward in life. Um, it's basically, I discovered that as well. I found out about this healing modality about 10 years ago, because my journey as well as practitioner was to go through. I was already a naturopath when that's happened. So, but my journey was to go through as well some challenge regarding my health. And at that time, about 10 years ago, so, and what the medical let's say approach has to offer at that time, to me, was not really satisfying, or was not really resonating with my own values and how I approach health, let's say. So I had to figure out how to manage what I was going through. And and this is kind of randomly, but I don't believe it's random, because everything happened for a reason, I think. I found out a practitioner of body code and emotion code, and this same practitioner was a practitioner of an NAET technique. It's a technique that works on allergy as well, allergy clearing. So, so I experimented these healing modalities when I myself had to go through some kind of serious health issues, and it has been really amazing. It has really helped me a lot. Basically, it has been about 10 years. I'm not taking any medication. So usually it was supposed to for me to either go to some kind of invasive treatment, either surgery, some heavy medication for a while, and lifelong medication as well. So that doesn't really appear very appealing to me. So I had managed to kind of just be free of any medication, anything, since for the last 10 years, I would say.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And yeah, just so how I had managed that, it was through reframing my diet, my lifestyle, having proper sleep, proper exercise, proper. One of the biggest things, and I see that in clients a lot as well, me included, is having a really good emotional and stress management, um, routine, I would say, because most of the time we would care about our physical body, exercising, maybe sleep, eventually having a proper diet. But you can have the best diet, the best training and sleeping, but if you are not able to manage your stress properly or your emotions, that will kind of mess the whole picture, I would say. So
Yeah.
it's all should work together.
Yeah. And I'm curious,
So yeah.
what is your emotional care taking routine?
Okay, so usually it's like something, then that's what I recommend to my client as well. Usually it's something that you should include daily, let's say in your routine. Like for example, you should first find what resonates with you, because this is very important. I believe that everyone has maybe might have a different routine, because if I tell everybody like, okay, you should do a 30-minute meditation every morning when you wake up, that might not work for everybody. Maybe some people, that would not be the right time to do that for them. Maybe some people, they would need to do more some kind of intensive exercise to manage their energy, their emotion. So I think first you need to find what's resonate for you. So I can suggest you many different ideas, suggestion, but then you need to choose what works, or you need to try. So for me, for example, one example could be usually what I was used to do, or what I do for quite some time now, is usually when I wake up, I would first have some hydration. That's one of the most important things. Having some water, some hot water infusion or something like that, eventually some tea. And then after that, maybe something I really like is like to do some cardiac coherence exercise. So you can look on internet about this technique. It's basically a breathing technique that will help you to calm down your nervous system. So it works as well. So it's like a some kind of guided meditation, if we can say. And that will calm down your nervous system for 5 to 6 hours. And
Wow.
it's really, really efficient in if you, for example, struggle with anxiety, stress. That's really, really efficient. So I would definitely recommend that to people currently that struggle with that. And there is a lot of anxiety and stress related issues now currently with the all this crisis that happened with COVID. So cardiac coherence exercise for maybe about 10 minutes. Usually I would do that. Then I would write. I have a notebook where I do I call that my gratitude practice. So I would write maybe 3 things that I feel grateful for. 3 things then that I can kind of like enjoy. Let's say it can be something small, something big, doesn't really matter, because it has been proven that gratitude really increase your level of happiness and contentment. So this is a very nice practice to do. And even in that practice, you can write at the end, like, what in the future, you just like think about your future version of yourself, and what you would feel grateful for. For example, if you have let's say currently a challenge, you want to get over this, you said, okay, I feel grateful for getting over this situation or this challenge or this whatever. And that's really worked very well. I think anything that I wrote in my in my notebook about feeling grateful of this or this in the future, I think if I sometimes I read it back, and everything has happened, I would say. So that's quite incredible. So I like to do that. So cardiac coherence, gratitude practice. Then usually I would go outside. I would take a few minutes in the morning, either to have a walk outside. If I can, I would go to have a bath in the sea if it's available close by. Because I really love nature and seawater as well, very therapeutic. Getting some sun at the same time, very important for having a proper amount of vitamin D,
Yeah.
that we are quite depleted here most of the time. A lot of people, even if it's, there is a lot of sun every day, but we don't really, either it's too hot, so we don't go so much outside.
Yeah.
So very important, especially now with the, what's happened with COVID as well. Vitamin D, a proper level has been really correlated to less serious symptoms in terms of COVID, as well, less a better immunity as well. So yeah, I would go outside, getting some sun, getting in the sea, connecting with nature, maybe walking barefoot if possible, going into a park, some kind of natural space, whatever you have close by eventually. And mostly that would be it for the morning time. And then I would be, yeah, no, some little bit additional things that I would do usually, but it's really according to my taste, is I would take care of all my plants and little garden that I have kind of created on my rooftop. Basically, there was nothing there at the beginning, but I'm a big fan of plants and nature, so I felt the need to recreate some kind of green space there, because I lived as well for a long time in the Caribbean, where it's very lush and very green. So I miss that a lot. So I would kind of connect with my plants and my garden. So maybe sometime doing a little bit of few minute gardening, or taking care of um, some, growing sometime as well when it's the season. I grow my own vegetable and aromatics, or lettuce, spinach, things like that. So yeah, that would be, so that's a little bit, I like to take my time in the morning. So for me, what is important is having the time to wake up, do all these little rituals, and then I can start to work basically.
Yeah, and it's so important because it feels that through this morning ritual, you are getting in touch with, well, the heart, right? Like through the cardiac heart coherence, and creating just this space for you to start a day with gratitude is really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's really something that is really has been really helpful. And so, but it's different, that's my example for now. But everybody can, some people in the morning, they won't have enough time to do this type of thing, so they might want to do it maybe later, before going to bed, like this gratitude practice, or this some meditation, some breathing exercise, some yoga. Breathing as well is very important. um, so you should find when is the right time for you, and what are the right practice that will resonate with you. There is many others. So I think you need to just try and find what is good for you. It can change as well. Some period of time I don't feel to do this one, I would go for something else. So it's you just need to listen to yourself as well.
Yeah. And that's very beautiful. I love that you are mentioning this, listening to yourself and listening to your body. It is true that for many of us it's quite difficult because we are so disconnected. We are just living in this well, loop where
Yeah, automatic pilot, I call that. And that's really, even me, it's happened to me as well. Sometimes there is things that are taking over my day, my mind, everything. So it's happened to us as well as practitioner, as we were talking a little bit earlier. We have our own challenge to work on. We have our own, we are human beings as well.
and it's really beautiful to normalize that because yeah, we were just talking just before we started. We all are going through this human experience. And I think that nobody has the solution or the perfect recipe to feeling good inside your body, inside your mind, and inside your life, but we are all trying our best. And it's so great that some of us have been through this healing journey, and just like you are here to share it with other people and to embark them and to show them what worked for you, and maybe that
Yeah,
work for other people too. And it's amazing.
yeah, that's why, when I've been through this challenge regarding my health, like many years ago, and when I saw the result, like how you can finally manage it in a kind of natural way and non invasive way, and how good it can work as well. If you But I think is you have to invest yourself in that. I mean, any alternative complementary technique will, or healing modality will work very well, uh, whatever resonate with you, but you have to be really committed. So that's sometime, the thing is that currently, a lot of people, they would rather go for the quick fix, and they would rather take a pill to fix one issue, than even if they have to do it like on a uh, daily basis, than commit themselves to do some change in their life, to improve themselves on some ways, to clear some maybe unhealthy habits, some kind of toxic pattern they might have. So it's not an easy journey, I would say. It's require commitment, but it's really rewarding. And that's why when I saw the result as well on what I could do with myself, I absolutely wanted to share it with people, and through my practice, and adding all these tools that had helped me uh, in my practice, basically. So that's why, either the body code, emotion code, the NAT technique, the naturopathy, so any technique I use um, currently has been helping me through my challenges, basically. So that's why I use these ones. So I really wanted to be able to share that with people as well, because I say, if there is a way maybe for some people to avoid them to go through harsh treatment when it's maybe sometimes not necessary, they can manage it either through natural ways, or combine as well the medical approach and the complementary healing modalities, because both combined work very well as well. I have many clients that they keep having their usual treatment, and they work with me as well, and they have very good results. So I would say anything is possible. And I was as well really eager to, and I really wanted to, um, to spread another kind of information than the usual one, that everybody's okay. You have this issue, you can only go through a medical approach with that. Whereas, yes, you can go through medical approach, but maybe you can be your journey can be supported as well with additional alternative approach, and make you feel better. Maybe you can reduce if you have a heavy kind of medication, you can reduce the side effect of the medication through alternative healing modalities. So there is many things that you can do through alternative complementary healing modalities, basically.
Yeah, and that's really powerful, because I think that many of us, when we are going through something very, very difficult health wise, all the defense mechanisms and all the fear of, well, going on the other side are popping up, right? And we tend to go for the obvious solution, which is usually what most people have done, which is go on the classical normal way. But that's just one option. I think that once people mention that there are other options, it's so empowering, because you are no longer just a victim who is, well, this just happened to me, so I really need to take action fast and go, because that's the only option that I have. It just becomes a wider spectrum of, well, I could actually work on my mindset, and probably that's going to change even the way that I look at this issue, which is not an issue. It just becomes a blessing in disguise, because that takes me closer to who I am and what my heart really needs, and how can I work through my emotional stuckness so that I
Exactly.
so that I can come closer to who I truly am and why I truly came here in this life. It's really, really.
Exactly, and that's really resonate what you are mentioning now, like what feeling like you resonate with what you are doing, either through your healing journey or either through your your job, for me, for example, or both, because I've been through both. And for sure, there is no, as well, there is no judgment, or there is not one thing that is better than the other. It's not the medical side against the alternative approach. It's like I see that very as a complement, um, as like as you said, a spectrum of approach that give a good result. So I think whatever you choose, if you choose even the medical approach, or combining with alternative, or if you choose only alternative, so it's really a personal choice according to what resonates with you, to your situation, because sometimes, especially now with this crisis that happen currently in the world, sometimes we don't have access to all of the healing modalities, whether medical or alternative. So it's a bit more challenging. So sometimes, as you said, sometimes you cannot wait too much according to what's happened to you health wise. So you have to take action, and sometimes you will do your best with what you have available at the moment, and it's good as well. I mean, the most important, I would say, is to resonate with what you would choose, and even if it's not, let's say, if you would have choose something slightly different, but for some reason your situation doesn't allow you to choose exactly what you wanted, but I think it's very important that you approach your healing journey, whatever it is, whatever tools you will use or you will have to use, in a very positive mindset, because that will be a big part of your healing, let's say, whether you choose the medical approach, the alternative, both combined, only one of them. um, that's y- you should go always with a very open mind, with faith, with a positive yeah, really, really positive mindset, and yeah.
Yeah, surrender.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's a.
think. Mhm.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I think, yeah, yeah. It's really important to kind of, I think, definitely trust and faith is important as well. There is for me as well. I see spirituality as a part of the healing journey as well. It has been one big part of my journey too. So it's part of it's part of the approach as well, like how you approach life, what you are here for, what do you do something that resonates with you, or how you can reach that, how you at your own level. Yeah, that's important, to find some kind of sense, some kind of meaningful purpose to what you do. And I don't say there is like important things and non-important things. I would really see anything. I would say anything everything and anything is important.
Yeah.
Whether it's some big things, some small things. It's remind me one encounter I had about someone that is very inspiring me usually, and it's Vandana Shiva. She's one. She's an Indian activist. She's into environment basically, and I'm a big fan of nature. So I'm really fond of her. She's a very powerful woman, and I had the chance to meet her in Doha like a few years ago. She was doing a lecture at the National Library, and so I had the chance to quickly talk with her a little bit, and I told her, sometime how you do to not feel like sometime like overwhelmed, because as humans we feel like whatever we do, even if we feel we have our contribution to bring to the world, we think like, okay, what we do is a tiny grains of sand in a big desert, and sometimes we feel like some kind of useless, we feel some, we feel it's maybe useless or something like that. So I was sharing that with her. I said, sometimes it feels like we just do a so tiny action, so little things that it feels useless, in the whole vastness of the world. And she told me, no, 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 that's the only way to do things, to do small things plus small things plus small things, and then it becomes like some small things plus it's like then it becomes something bigger. But this is the only approach, and the only things that we can do, it's starting with small things. So for me, I feel like everybody has its own role, its own contribution to bring to the world in different manner, in different way, shape or form, and everything is important. So I think for me, as let's say from more a mental health perspective, as soon as you have found your purpose, I would say, in this life, I usually see and can observe that people, once they have reached that point where they kind of figure out what they are here for, they would stop to feel depressed, for example, most of the time, depressed or so anxious or so stressed. So it will really support them relate in terms of mental health, I would say. Even for sure they will still have their moment where it's more challenging, but that's why I say spirituality as well is an important factor in the healing journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were mentioning Vandana Shiva and what she said, I remembered what the Dalai Lama says about if you ever think that you are unimportant, try sleeping in a room with a mosquito.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I find that very funny, and absolutely, I see this, and I think that everybody has this question about what is my purpose, and for me, it has been a big deal my whole life, and then I just realized that, well, I am creating my purpose, and more than finding something and be like, okay, this is your purpose. It's more about waking up every day and finding the purpose throughout the day. And something that was really, really helpful was when I don't remember. I think it was a Buddhist monk or some priest. I don't remember who it was who told me, when you wake up, just do this. Just say, God, the universe, whoever is in charge, use me today as a tool to do good. That's it. Like you don't have to do anything else. Just do that.
Exactly, and I think that that's very significant. Sometimes when we said, "Oh, I have to find my mission in this life, my higher purpose, etc." It seems like very. It may seem very pretentious or something like that, but it's on the contrary, it's something very simple.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as I said, maybe it can be just taking care of. I don't know, your garden and growing some kind of veggies that you will share with your family or with some friend. Some days can be, just smiling at someone that, and this person will kind of, it will bring some kind of joy or light in the day of this person. So it's very simple, it doesn't have to be complicated and thinking like, oh, I'm so important, I need to do a big things. No, it's like as well to stay simple. I mean, we tend to really complicate our life, our way to live as well, especially now. So I think for me, I saw that period of all this confinement since last year and all this challenge we have been through related to COVID as well. I saw that as an opportunity to reconnect to ourselves as well, deeply, and to kind of make the choice of clearing certain things that doesn't resonate with us as well, getting more inward, inside, um, and maybe going for more simple things, because we have been away, especially during the confinement phase. We've been away from most of our usual distraction, going out, shopping, all these things we have in our life. So there was none of these basically. So we were just like between, us and ourselves, I would say, just facing ourselves. So that's why, sometimes it can be very, it can trigger a lot of anxiety as well, because as you said, we are so disconnected from ourselves that when we just are facing ourselves, it may feel like a void, we are facing. And so we need to kind of rebuild a little bit of who we are, what do we want, what is important for us, what is non-important. And I think most of the time we maybe tend to come back to something more simple, and focusing on more of what is essential in our life, rather than all the distraction.
Yeah.
So I think I saw that period of time, even if it was very challenging. Most of us have lost, close people, have been through challenges as well. But on a positive note, it has been a positive time as well, a time for reframing certain things in our life as well. Yeah.
And a lot of us, I think, who spend much more time than we would have usually with our families. I would love to find out more about family and systemic constellations, because I think that
Yeah, exactly. That's a big challenge, because then there is there was no escape.
exactly no hiding.
Basically, and as well, some parents have the kids staying at home, so the whole family. So yeah, that was very challenging. So basically, I'm as well a family constellation practitioner. And so basically, the purpose of family constellation modalities, healing modalities, is basically to assist you in releasing yourself from entanglement and baggage that are not yours originally, but in fact they may belong to your family system. So basically, family constellation, it's part of the systemic approach regarding psychology. So it's like any individual is part of a bigger system. So first we are part of a family, but then the family is part of a bigger system, etc. So most of the time, it's good to have an individual approach, but as well, that's why that came. This is one of my last, let's say, in terms of chronologically speaking, family constellation is the last one of my healing modalities that in my journey, I would say, that I discovered, and it has been amazing too as well. So because you realize most of the time that many of your baggage are linked as well to your family system and family dynamic, for example. So the issue is often not only a personal one, but part of the whole system. So um, for example, many people who come to family constellation have already tried many other methods to resolve their problems, and it's often a pattern or an entanglement coming from the family of origin. But therapies or personal development or coaching that don't work with a systemic approach may missing the mark as well. So sometimes they won't find solution. So whether as family constellation, it's a modality that in which the client is placed in a space, basically, where there will be a representation of the family members, and we will look for understanding the dynamic from the system, from the family. And basically that's what we call the constellation, because it's like there is many different elements in it. Um, Basically, it will serve the person to uncover the background of either failure, some kind of illness, addiction, isolation, or any kind of challenge they can go through. So basically, it's about moving, the elements in the system to find a better balance in the system. So we do that through either movement, um, in the basically we use usually I would use little stones or little elements to represent each family member. For example, if we work on a family, so either we will move this stone according to how the client feel regarding each of them, and we will work on affirmation on what the client feel in each position in the system. So it's basically it's about everybody to have its own place. So once you have found and taken this place, there is a new perspective that will opens up and which will make you capable of taking action as well. um, so for example, by releasing this old unconscious bound, for example, our focus will be directed towards true love, care, mindfulness, and respect. And so that's from where we can, start to take action and get over our issues. Um, so, what can I tell you about family constellation?
Really beautiful. I had the privilege of taking part in
Mhm.
one family constellation modality, and I think also enmeshment with your family is very visible. Fusional relationships, the way that you just the very natural interaction that you have with your parents or with your grandparents bring a lot of insight into the way that this relationship had been created, generational trauma that has been carried from maybe abuse in the family, for example, or lack mentality. This is what came up for, for me. So it was quite interesting to see that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's really, it's really vast. So you can really use a family constellation in many things, because especially, as expats, there is, a lot of things to clear as well, because some people come from, have been kind of displaced from their country either by choice or not. So there is a lot of things to consider regarding that as well.
Yeah.
um,
And
there
identity.
is. Mhm.
Identity. I mean, like, if your parents were born, for example, in one country, and then they emigrated to another country, but then you have the cultural upbringing of certain culture, right? But you are growing up in a different culture. And I have a lot of friends who have come from this maybe Eastern Europe, and but they were brought up in France, or
Mhm.
I don't know, Palestine, but they are living in Germany, right? So there are a lot of elements about, well, who am I truly, and what is truly my identity? Like, what can I claim as an identity?
Yes, like yeah, where do I belong as well? That's the fact to belong is really important in human psychology for the balance of the human beings as well. So, and there is, under this family constellation, it's a universal thing. There is some kind of law, like. That let's say any subconscious mind will follow wherever you are from. So there is, for example, the law of belonging, the law of loyalty to your family, whether you have good relation with your family or not. This is something in your subconscious mind. So you will, same, when you had to leave your country of origin for whatever reason, you may feel like, even if it was by a choice, you may feel like some kind of I don't know, some kind of lack of loyalty towards your family of origin. You can, maybe because of that, you want to restore the balance, so you may take some or you may absorb or take from another family member some of their let's say ailment or some of their type of symptoms or disease to kind of, it's like you take on your shoulder something to alleviate them in
Yeah.
some ways, if that makes sense. So it's really happened often as well, a lot, especially with kids. Usually they tend to do that a lot. It's not conscious. They don't do that on purpose consciously, but that's what they would tend to do if there is an imbalance in the system or in the family between, let's say, even between the parents. Often the kid will be the one that will carry the symptoms, I would say, in some ways. That's how I can say that. So maybe it's not so much about the kids, but it's about like what type of imbalance there is, maybe between the parents, between maybe sometime above, maybe sometimes it's related, as you said, to the grandparents, maybe some siblings. So there is someone in the system that will kind of take some burden, I would say,
Yeah. Yeah. And
to alleviate the things and to kind of restore some kind of balance for that in the manner of that, not the heavy weight will not be on one person. It won't change anything, because even if you carry something from someone else, it won't help this someone else to feel lighter, but it's a subconscious phenomenon that happens basically.
yeah, and it's really beautiful because the intention at the basis of that is children, it is love. I see mommy is in really.
Exactly. It's that's why the one of the first law in the family constellation is the it's the law of love, definitely. So it's anything is done through love. So I take your pain. I take because
Yeah.
I want you to feel good. I because I love you, etc. So this is a subconscious, but this is how it works. Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. I would love to see more people interested. For me, it was extremely helpful. I'm a spiritual junkie, so I've been through all sorts of modalities, and I praise myself for this because I took a lot from my family, and I said, okay, put it in my baggage. So I learned also through these different modalities that there were a lot of things that were not mine. So I learned how to say, I love you, I care about you, and here it is, back to you. Now you can do whatever you feel comfortable or you feel called to do with it.
And that's really amazing, because I've done constellation either for client or for myself, and you can see the result in even some domain that you wouldn't expect to see the result. Maybe you work on, maybe let's say you, because often we come back to relation to your parents, basically, where whatever the age you are. It's often, even if you want to work on your relationship, so most of the time the root of the issue is not in the relationship, is in the relation that you had with your parents. So we need to address, most of the time it came back to this. um, so but sometimes you, let's say you work on the relationship to your parents, and then you may see like suddenly some big change, maybe in your relationship or in your work domain or in some domain where you had some other challenge as well, but it will, the dynamic has completely changed, so it will affect the whole, it's like a holistic approach. So it will affect the whole system and the whole domains of your life as well.
Yeah, and something that I really, really like, I think I saw it on Instagram, was, well, just take care of your own wounds so that you don't bleed on the people who did not create that. Because all of us have a lot of trauma and wounds from our childhood, from our primary caretakers who very lovingly did not realize what they were doing, and they were coming from, well, generations and generations of other people who did their best at the level of the conscious, at the level of consciousness that they were at. But then once this becomes visible, like for example, you want to achieve, you want something, you want a healthy, grounded relationship, and for one reason or another that is not happening, then, well, it's your responsibility to see what can I do better, where can I start my healing journey with what I have, so that I don't reiterate whatever happened in my family.
Yeah, definitely. And I think being conscious of that is a very big step first, or toward your healing journeys, being aware that we all have some challenge, some issues, some, as you said, because any, each of our parents has done, they have done their best, but there is always some, as you said, as primary caretaker, there is always some things happening and some event and some, life is not really always like all pink, so we go through things, um small big things, so we all have our own things to sort it out. I would say I haven't seen one person that has nothing to work on. I think that's, as human being, that's not possible, I would say. So even practitioners, so we have a lot of things to work on as well. And another things I would like to mention is that often people feel a little bit like ashamed to, uh, let's say, to work on, or to kind of ask for help. This is something we are not really used to do, because it's sometimes it's maybe seen as a weakness, or like they would think that they would have this limiting belief, like, oh, people would think that I'm not able to manage myself, that I need support from outside, etc., etc. So I think currently and nowadays we need to kind of get rid of this limiting belief of uh, you know having some support from different healing modalities, whatever you choose that resonate with you, is because either you have some mental issues, or either you're not able to manage yourself properly, or either, all this kind of not very nice image, I would say, about therapies, about healing modalities. Whereas it can be a fantastic tools to move forward in your life. And even, sometimes I've worked as well with, for example, artists at some point. There is phase like that, in practitioners. Sometimes for many months you work with artists, or for then later on you work with another type of people. And because I'm a big fan of art as well, so whoever comes to you usually is because on a certain level there is a kind of resonance with your energy. So often you have the client that you deserve, as we said. And so yeah, I was working with artists, for example, on sometimes they want to improve their creativity, their inspiration, their motivation. So sometimes they might find themselves stuck in their creativity process. Let's say when it's their job, for example, because of certain emotional blockages, for example. So clearing these really, for example, help them to get over this and move forward a little bit more in a more smooth way, in a more open way, and gaining clarity as well. Sometimes will help people to move forward in their life in a better way, because there is a lot of confusion, especially currently as well. A lot of confusion, stress happening because of the worldwide situation.
Yeah.
So it's very, it's not. I mean, now as I said, we should get rid of this idea that therapy is only is for crazy people. Like, this is a very stereotypical image that people have, but it's very anchored in the collective consciousness in some ways, and that's not the case at all. You can have some support from a coach, from a health coach, from a naturopath, from a psychologist, from a, whatever resonates with you, and that will help you maybe to gain back your motivation, to go back to a better health, to find more creativity in your life, find more alignment, whatever you are looking for. Maybe find your purpose in life as well if you lack of clarity related to that. So it's very vast, I would say. So it would be, for me, I always think it would be a shame to not um, kind of see the possibilities that you can use to become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, and I celebrate that. And for me, it's not a better, it's just a more real version of yourself. We
More
have,
authentic, maybe.
yeah, exactly. Like we have been conditioned to, well, carry these masks around. And when you break your leg, you go to the orthopedist, and that's normal, right? When you feel stuck and you feel sad and you don't feel at ease in your own body and in your mind, there should be, you know what I mean? Like the normal thing to do should be, well, I need some help, I need some support. And the most loving thing that you can do, I really want to celebrate. I have a friend who has been in a relationship for a very long time, and she told me, I had a chat with my partner, and I told him, look, I don't want to give our children what we received from our parents, so I invite you, for both of us, she's doing her own type of therapy, can we both take care of our own emotional baggage so that we can bring up more emotionally attuned individuals? And I found that amazing, because he was like, yes, okay, it's got to be very tough, but the most loving and the most courageous thing that you can do as a partner for yourself, first and foremost, because you are on your own partner in life, but then for somebody else, is to really, really take care of your emotional self, because that will always show up in your personal relationships, in your professional relationships, in your relationship with yourself. So I'm really, really grateful that, well, practitioners like you exist. And
Yeah, exactly. And that's really as well, very rewarding for us as practitioner, because, when you see people's life changing,
yeah,
you can see enjoying their life again. Maybe they were very restricted because of some health issues, let's say, some emotional issues. They were like feeling like sad, not good. They had something that they needed to manage. So I've seen, many clients like that really being transformed. I would say from sometime from night to day, like totally transform. And I remember always the time where the first time I meet them, and then after that, after we work together, how they have been totally transformed. And I'm like, oh my god, I remember this guy or this lady the first time we met, that was just like such a different person. And it's not, as you said, it's not only about the individual, but about how the life of this person will change, and how it will impact the whole, let's say, family, let's say the people that live around that person, maybe at work as well. So from the moment where the person would feel better, the especially the kids, because I often see, like, especially moms, they feel super overwhelmed, they have tons of things to manage. And in addition, when they don't feel good, it's just a disaster for the kids, for the husband, for the whole family, because as women, we are often I would say, the barometer of
yeah,
the family, I would say,
yeah,
or whoever we have around. So when we don't take enough time to take care of ourselves, and this is something that women struggle a lot with, is to take time and to take care about themselves, because they feel very guilty usually to do that, whereas it's not, I don't see that as an act of of being selfish, I would say, but on the contrary, it's something really mandatory, because if you don't take care about yourself, you cannot give, you cannot be present in your family, in your relation, in your work. So this is something I learned as well through my practitioner journey, because we see people on a daily basis, and we need to be present, we need to be focused, when we are dealing with people that have some challenge, whatever they are. So and it's require a lot of energy and a lot of focus. So we really need to keep our energy level, our at a very good level, I would say. So to not absorb some, too much of their, in terms of energy, to not absorb too much of our clients, let's say, negative emotion or challenges or anything. So we need to really be at our best in terms of energy and emotional and stress management as well, if we want to be able to support our client as well. So
Yeah.
it's happened the same within families, so this is something people need to really integrate, because sometimes it's better to take a break of an hour, 2 hours, as especially I think about moms in general having kids, and getting away, taking a break, going for a massage, going for having a coffee with a friend, or anything that will make you feel like, will make you feel like recharge your battery, or anything that you like to do, and then coming refreshed, coming in another type of mindset or mood, where you can be present for your kids, than just staying stuck in that feeling of being overwhelmed, and then your mood is affected, and you start to feel, or to be as well, terrible with your kids, to start like you are not patient anymore, you can't stand your family anymore, your kids, your partner, your husband, and it's just a disaster. So sometimes it's not sometimes, it's really mandatory to take time for ourselves, even whether as men or women. And that's really something people forget, I would say. So um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful reminder, because you can only share from a full cup. So if your cup is empty, then it's going to be very difficult to bring joy to other people.
Exactly.
I would love to go into a little healing modality. So we spoke about the body code. You can use whatever whatever you think you want from me. I would love to help out, just for people to have a taste of what it would be like. And then so maybe just before that, we can talk about the different organs you mentioned, and how emotions are related. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit of about the body code, for example. So, for example, in that healing modalities, it's an energy-based healing modalities. So we work on 6 main imbalance, basically. So that are divided on, yeah, so 6 main chapters, I would say. So one chapter is energy based, another chapter is related to pathogen, another one is related to circuitry, another one related to misalignment, another one to toxin, another one to nutrition and lifestyle. So in each of these chapters, let's say, there is branches as well. So basically, body code will use muscle testing to check where does this imbalance come from in your body. So it's include for sure trapped emotion, emotional related issues as well. So it's an holistic approach as well. It's not only about the body, but it's as well about the mindset. It works as well on limiting belief, the organ energy, some toxin that you can have in your body. So basically, it use, I don't know if you are familiar with kinesiology. So it use like the response of the muscles when you test the muscles. So basically, if there is a some kind of weakness in the muscle, means like there is some some imbalance in the body system. So that's how we can notice where there is an issue, I would say, or something to clear. So as well, as my practice is online exclusively, because body code can be done face to face, but can be done online as in distance. So I use, when I do in distance session, I use myself as surrogate, because when you work with energy healing modalities, one of the rules, like, energy doesn't know time and space. So whether you are in front of me or 1,000 kilometer, 10,000 kilometer, doesn't matter really. So I use myself as surrogate to test, what are the different imbalance you may have currently, and so how we can clear that as well. So let's say, so usually the client will come with a specific issues or challenge or pain or something he or she want to improve. Maybe he has kind of lost some motivation, or he feels stuck in some areas of his or her life, or had some specific physiological issues that you want to work on. So you can address all these type of different challenges, I would say. So what you would like me to do, Anka? Do you want me to find to do a little example with you, or
Yeah, let's do a little
mm,
example. Whatever you feel, there is nothing of like out of the boundaries. So whatever you feel called to to share, you can share.
okay, so for example, let's say okay, so I will just first take a few seconds to connect to your energy. Okay. Okay, so then what I do usually, I will do with the client. So we won't do that today because we are limited in time, but I will I will take a few minutes to do a grounding exercise to ground ourselves, to connect ourselves as well. So it's just like some kind of guided meditation as well, to bring back either me or the client in a more centered and grounded space and clear space. So we will, for the podcast purpose, we'll skip that step for today, but this is usually what I do. Then I will ask the question once I'm connected with you. So now it's okay. I will ask, can we do a sample of body code for you today? So I got yes as answer if I use myself as surrogate. And then I will ask, can I use myself as surrogate? Yes. Okay. So is there anything specific you would like to work on, Anka, or
No, just
uh,
whatever comes up.
okay, so what I can do in that case is I would ask, is there any imbalances that we can clear for you according to your highest purpose, or according to your highest good? Is there any imbalance we can clear? Because I always ask this question, like, according to your highest good or for your highest good, because we don't have always, sometimes we want to do something, but maybe that's not the things that need to be done. So we leave it, let's say, to the universe, or as let's say that way. So yes, there is, okay, there's at least two things we can clear as priority. So if I check, so the first one lead me to the energy section, and lead me to the post-traumatic section and emotional section, if I go into that. So basically, the first one is, like, just to a little explanation, is the physical emotional shock energy. It's a vibrational frequency that may become stuck in the body, for example, during an emotionally shocking event um, that has kind of create some kind of extreme stress or shock. So normally this type of energy is processed and released automatically, but it could become stuck sometime if it has been quite intense, or if the body was already imbalanced in some ways. So let's check. I'm going to take my chart here. So let's check what we have for you now. So I have okay, it's in column B. So I have a little chart with different type of emotion. Okay, so first things for you is we need to clear a trauma energy around feeling confused. Is that, and we can ask, is it related to some of your life event? I got yes. And can you, if I may ask your age, Anca? Sorry, because I need to.
34. No risks.
34. Okay. So is it? Yeah. Okay. Is it before 30? Before the. So from the age of 23. A trauma energy around feeling confused. So either, you know, sometime you may it may resonate with you, like yes, you might have some event that you remember around that time that make you feel confused maybe, and that have been this energy of confusion has been trapped in your, let's say, in your energy or in some part of your body. Is it stuck somewhere in your body in a specific location? Yes. So I don't always ask the location, but just for you to know, we can check where is it located, this trapped energy. Okay, so it's trapped in one of your organs. It's trapped in your heart, basically. It's trapped in your heart energy. So maybe, you know, sometime you may remember something, sometime not, sometime you were too young, sometime, you know, your brain might have cleared some information as well, because imagine if we had recorded absolutely every single information we go through every day, that would be too overwhelming. So now I'm going to use a specific little tools that it's like a magnet that usually when I do face-to-face session, I will roll this magnet along your spine, because basically you have along your spine some main energy pathway that are linked to your chakras as well. So when there is an imbalance, usually it will create a blockage in the energy flow of your meridian, basically. So we will need to clear, once we have found this trapped energy about feeling confused. So I will use myself as surrogate to clear that. And just you don't have anything specific to do. I will just do some intention work as well to release that. Usually I will tend to yawn when I do that because the energy is released.
Yeah, I'm yawning.
And yeah, you see. So sometimes a lot of clients as well, they will tend to yawn, even, you know, we don't have the video on or anything, so it's not contagious. As sometimes you see someone yawning, so you yawn automatically, but that's not the case because we don't have the video on right now. So let's release that. Okay, so now it's cleared. So let's see what is the second imbalance. We can clear for you as priority for your highest good. We are still again in the energy section, and it's in the mental section. It's a will to energy. So let me explain that to you. So what we call a will to energy in this body called healing modalities, basically it's a unique frequency of energy when one has a will to do something, even if most of the time the desire is experienced temporarily. So let's see what we have, then I will explain a little bit more. So for you, okay, so we have a will to control energy that is stuck for you. And is it something recent? No. Is it before 30? It's from the age of 32. So basically, a will to control energy is like sometime, you know, related to some event or some situation in our life, we feel a little bit like things are getting out of control. We are a little bit overwhelmed, or we feel like insecure. It's like we would like to have control on things, especially now, for example, we don't have control of a lot of things. So even if temporarily we were in a situation where we want to have control on this situation, usually it won't last, then we release it and everything is fine. But sometimes it may stay stuck as well. And let's say when this type of energy is trapped in our body, it will affect our own reality as well. So we will, for example, we might have some challenge, for example, to let go of things if we have this will to control energy that is trapped in our body or in our energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that resonate with you in some ways, Anca?
It's absolutely spot on.
Okay. So let me release that for you. Let's see if there is any underlying things we need to clear before. Is there any underlying things related to that? Okay, there is something we need to clear first, because most of the time when there is this type of energy that we need to clear, it's because of some event, because of something happened. So let's see what we have for you. Okay, we are in the energy section, post-traumatic, physical, emotional. Okay, so column A, 1, 2, 4. And we have a trauma energy around intolerance. So when is it related to one life event? Yes. Years. So from the same age, around 32 years old. So trauma energy around intolerance. Maybe sometimes we feel stuck in situation where we can't stand something, or because either it doesn't resonate with our values or we can't tolerate. So it can be something physical as well. Sometimes I see that with people having like allergies, important allergies issues, that they react strongly to something. But it can be as well emotionally, like intolerance in terms of emotion. So let's clear first this trauma energy around intolerance. Okay. And now are we able to clear this will to control energy? Yes. Okay. So now we can release as well this will to control energy. Okay. So let's see, is there any other priority we need to clear for now? For your highest good? No. Okay, so that's what I got as priority, because you don't have any specific things you want to work on right now. So if I just check if there are any priority to clear for you, that's what I got for now. If you are more, let's say, if someone is more specific, in a specific domain in his or her life, we might.
Oh no.
Well, so what I want to
just one second. I lost you at if someone has more specific. Can you just repeat that?
If someone has more specific requests, want to work on a specific domain or specific areas where he or she feels stuck, or where he or she has some pain or something physical as well. So there might be some other imbalance that may show up as well. So as well, something I want to mention is that people often ask me like, how many sessions do I need? How long time does it take, etc. So the session like is a normal time, like maximum. The first session is a bit longer because we need to have a clear picture of the client, but then it's like usual time for a session, like 45 minutes or so. But when they ask me like how many sessions they need, it's really up to them, in the sense of when you clear things, when you work on yourself, it's a process. So often people see that as a task that they have to do, and then they are done with it and they are done forever. So we see that more as like the healing journey and the let's say I wouldn't even call it only a healing journey, but I would say it's a journey toward your own self. I would say just as simple as that.
Yeah.
So because life happen as well, so we always kind of go through things basically. So things are moving, the emotion, your mind, your bodies, everything is constantly changing. So nothing is fixed, nothing is permanent. So you can still work on yourself. Um, you can improve. You can be more connected to yourself by the time. So there is always things to do. It depends on what is your approach. Some people, they just want to fix their issues, then they're happy with that, and that's totally fine. Most of the time, what I see in my practice, that people come with a specific issue at the beginning. We start to work with body code. Sometimes we alternate. We do some family constellation in between. It works very well together, by the way. And according to what we found as type of imbalances, there is for them some kind of realization. I would say that they say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That resonates with me. I didn't think about it, but I think under this, I really need to work on that, because that's one of my challenge as well. I always come back to that, and I always feel kind of stuck with that." So they will realize in working with that healing modalities that they have things to release, maybe, or some limiting belief that they need to get rid of, some whatever it is basically. So most of them, they will want to know a little bit more. They will want to dig a little bit deeper. And I would always recommend to do some kind of maintenance. It's like your car. You just keep putting some oil. You send it to the service once in a while, regularly. And we won't never use our car without doing that, basically, because we know that at some point the car will just stop working, and it will be kind of bad, because there will be a need for a lot of work to fix the car. So that's same with us, basically. For me, for example, I commit to do a monthly session with my own practitioner that is in US currently. And because because same, even if I'm a practitioner, even if I can do it for myself, and I do it as well sometimes, and I feel like something is off, but I commit to have someone like a supervisor, some practitioner that can support me as well when I need to clear something, when I need to some advice, some suggestions, some work on myself as well.
Yeah.
So just to say, like, even practitioner, we need some support, some maintenance, I would say, as well. And it has been a very a rich journey, I would say, related to that.
Yeah. And that's very, I mean, like for me, it makes me trust you even more because, of course, you are taking care of your own energy. So then you can support your clients better. And it's really wonderful to be witnessed by somebody because a lot of the things like therapy and all the healing modalities, for me, a big benefit of that is just having another nervous system, you know what I mean, who witnesses and sees me through my pain, sees me through my joy, sees the progress that I'm making. And for a lot of your clients, I think this is why we want to control and we want to know how is it going to be, when am I going to be like perfect, and I will be able to live my perfect life. And there is no such thing as perfect life. This is the perfect life, exactly as it is happening. That's absolutely perfect in the divine in the divine
Exactly.
is the perfect way to be. Yeah, thank you so much.
That's exactly the point. Like, there is no perfect. We are not looking for perfection. It's just like it's a journey, I would say. That's it.
Yeah.
and there is always a way to make things more smooth or more aligned or according to our needs in the moment as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned something really important, which was commitment. And I think that the idea of the process and finding joy in the process and commitment are very much linked. Because when you start shifting into, for me, this is just self love, like self care, taking care of this beautiful cosmic suit, astronaut suit that is the body and then the mind, is just a sign of how much willingness and how much love I am willing to pour into my own self, so that I can share from that space, and not from a space of lack, not from a space of trauma, unresolved emotional baggage, and all the things that are quite heavy on the soul and on the mind.
Yeah, that
Ah,
person
sorry,
could
I
take
lost you
care.
again. I lost you.
Sorry,
I lost you again.
I was saying that's a very important message. If every person could take in charge its own wellness and well-being, really being responsible for that, I think that will be just a wonderful world to live in, and I think we are on the way for that. And yeah, that's my basically my what I feel I'm here for, to bring my contribution to make a little change in people's life at my level. And as I was saying, everybody has a talent, a skill that should be valued and at any level. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I just wanted to mention that when you started doing the body code, emotion code technique on me, and you asked me if there is any specific thing, I was like, no, let's just see what pops up. But I felt my heart really heavy, and I've been like, I had this really heavy energy at the level of my heart for quite a while.
Mm. And that's very I was about to mention something about that as well, because with this emotion code healing technique as well, there is a very important work that usually we do. It's called clearing your heart wall. So basically, what is just few words about what is the heart wall on the energy level. Basically, it's the heart wall is something we create. I mean, it's not conscious for sure, but it's something we create to protect ourselves. Let's say we have been heartbroken for different reasons. We have been through challenging time, and we were feeling some kind of emotion, sadness, or anything. So there may have been time in your life where you felt that physical sensation, like referred to as a heartache, and this feeling of pressure or discomfort in the chest and throat maybe occur when someone is hurting us, or we have a deep sense of grief or loss. So that's important to remember, that the heart is actually the core of our being. And if you have had this experience more than a couple of times in your life, your subconscious mind may have formed an energy wall to protect your heart against further heartache. So we refer to this wall of energy as the heart wall. So how does the heart wall will affect you usually? It may basically interfere with the free flow of heart energy through the body. So this could make it more difficult for the body to heal itself, and it may affect you physically. So in addition, the heart wall could interfere as well with your ability to fully open your emotional heart to others and manifest abundance, clarity, and love in your life. That's an important aspect. And for example, when your heart wall is surrounded by when your heart, sorry, is surrounded by the layers of negative emotional energy that make up a heart wall, its ability to send this message to the outside may be diminished and could even lower your immune function, contribute to disease, And in my experience of energy healing, a heart wall, when you have one, can contribute to a lot of feelings of sadness, anxiousness, panic, fear, self-sabotage. It often can prevent you from feeling joy or successful relationship. So one of the best work you can do, I would say, if one can tell me like I have one things to do and I need to choose, I would say clear your heart wall. So it will bring a lot of clarity as well. It will clear a lot of confusion. And so thankfully, with the help of the emotion code, we can easily dismantle the potentially damaging emotional baggage that of trapped emotion that are in this heart wall basically. And so you have to keep in mind as well that about 90% of people have a heart wall. I had one myself that I cleared a while ago. So it takes usually between 1 to 3 sessions maximum, but most of the time in one session you can clear your heart wall. So that's something I want to mention, because just remember that the heart as well is not a simple pump. It's a very complex system that it has its own functional brain basically. And research in some new discipline called like neurocardiology show that the heart is a sensory organ and very sophisticated center for receiving and processing information. And the nervous system within the heart is unable to learn, remember, make functional decision independent of the brain's cerebral cortex as well. And moreover, numerous experiments have demonstrated that the signals the heart consciously send to the brain influence the function of higher brain centers involved in perception, cognition, and emotional processing. So in addition to the extensive neural communication network linking the heart with the brain and body, the heart also communicates information to the brain and through the body via electromagnetic field interaction. And as probably you know that the heart generates the body most powerful and most extensive electromagnetic fields. So it's like 60 times greater in amplitude and it's the magnetic component in the heart are approximately 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field, and it can be detected as well several it's quite far away from the body with sensitive magnetometers device, let's say.
Yeah.
And just to maybe to finish on the heart wall, like about the effect of releasing your heart wall. I've seen many like amazing story as well with my client. I think about one that we worked on clearing the heart wall, and it was a quite young guy in his 30s that kind of gave up on relationship for some reason, and so we clear his heart wall, and then maybe a few months later, or the next year, he got in touch with me and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm getting married." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, I met someone, etc." And then I was a little bit curious. I said, "Okay, can you just tell me like when did you met this person that you're gonna get married to?" And so he said, "Yeah, let me check that." And he gave me so it was just really like few weeks after we cleared his heart wall basically. So that was kind of so I have many different stories like that. It's not only about relation, but sometimes there is more abundance coming into your life when you release it. So so first you will address some trapped emotion that are usually not really helping you. So it will help you to connect in a better way to other as well. It will help you to recover from heartache that you may have experienced in the past, and that would have prevent you to find love, joy, and meaning again. It could help you as well to feel emotions. I would say one very clear things that happen when you clear your heart wall. It's allow you to feel more, but in a less emotional way, if that could make sense. Because often, the heart wall is like a filter. Imagine like this barrier you have around your heart. So when you send an information to the outside, you send it as A, and when it's received, when it goes through this filter, it will be distorted. Same on the other way around. So if you receive an information as A from the outside, it go through this filter of the heart wall, and you will receive it as B, whereas it's A originally. So basically, it's like a distortion. So you may tend to take things more personally. It may feel more hurting to you, or things like that. So basically, clearing that it will be like you clear a filter between you and the outside. So it could enable you to live how you've always wanted to live, with more vibrancy, more wellness, more love, more joy as well. So that's it brings much more clarity as well. That's a very common observation that people do. Like they got more clarity in their, more opening, more clarity in their life when they clear their heart wall, basically.
It sounds really wonderful. I'm like, I'm already super,
I
super
really
happy.
I really like to do this, especially like, I think if you ask me like what is the best type of session like that you like to do, I like any healing modalities that I use because they are all super amazing and efficient from my perspective and what I've seen with clients. But for me, like when I clear a heart wall for someone, when we work on that, when we've cleared it, and I feel so happy. Sometimes I'm clapping, I say, yeah, now your heart wall is clear. And I feel, so excited. And sometimes the person in front of me is like, why is she so excited, because they haven't experienced yet the effect. But I know, by experience and by having cleared many heart wall for clients, like what can happen after.
Yeah.
So I know it will make a difference. I'm feeling like quite happy when I do this type of work.
Yeah. So speaking about that, I hope that everybody's going to have this session and we're going to create like a worldwide community of open hearts. Where can people find you online?
Okay, so they can find me on basically Instagram first. So at Karine Naturopathy. So Karine with Karine, naturopathy with like naturopathy, and on Facebook as well. So my Facebook page is Karine Naturopathy Qatar, and I have a website as well, karinenaturopathy.wordpress.com. And if you have any question, if you are interested in any session, any details, you can write to me, through emails at karinenaturopathy@gmail.com. And I think, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I'm going to put all these links in the.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to put all the links in the description. And I'm really, really happy that we got to chat. It was much longer than promised, but it was a joy to have you on. And I do really wish that a lot of people are going to take the body code, the emotion code, because it does sound wonderful.
Yeah, that's really an amazing technique. So thank you so much for having me today, Anca, and I wish you a bright journey towards your highest self, and same to our audience.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karine. Have a happy evening.